So, it looks like we're getting a fifth Matrix movie, and I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first Matrix movie is legendary. Plus, all Sydney people, everyone who lives in Sydney, and maybe even most people who live in Australia will be able to say, hey, Martin Place, where Lady in the Red Dress, she walks past the fountain at Martin Place, so it's like George Street. You can also tell you can tell where the phone booth was. Like, you can tell all these locations. You can tell City Circle. Like, you can tell everything in this movie. Like, it was shot around Sydney, so most people who live in Australia and mainly live in Sydney can easily point out where these locations were in this movie. But the quality of the movies after the first one kind of go off a cliff. The Matrix Reloaded, I haven't opened this one, but I have watched it a million times. It's one of these movies that, like, yeah, it's got some good scenes with Agent Smith and so on and so forth, but I mean, this and Revolutions are kind of like, yeah, they're nice add-ons. I mean, it's good to have more in the franchise from the Matrix, but they're not really necessities, if that makes sense. They're kind of just there. I mean, it's nice to have a trilogy of movies, but they're nowhere near as good as the first Matrix movies. And then we got this. Matrix, what was it called? Resurrections. There we go. It's not even as important as Revolutions or whatever to remember the name. Because Neo just goes whoosh. He doesn't do kung fu in this one because obviously he was probably saving himself for John Wick. So yeah. Why do we have a Matrix movie coming out exactly? Can someone please tell me why there's a new Matrix movie coming out? And I believe it's not even the Wachowskis directing. Maybe they're involved somehow. That hasn't been revealed. But can someone please explain to me why there is a new Matrix movie? Is it going to be a new direction? I personally would like to see a Matrix movie, a prequel, about how the machine war begun, like how man and machine started, how that war begun before Matrix number 1. Have the original architect in there or whatever, like take it back to completely not even containing Trinity or Neo. Like, do something fresh. Have a new perspective on the franchise. Or go like, well, this is the thing, they tried to do Resurrections after everything, like a couple hundred years or whatever after, and I mean, at this point, just stop trying to make it about Neo. Let's go another direction. Go prequel. Go to like far in the distance or whatever. But I'm hoping there's a fresh take on The Matrix, because The Matrix is a great movie franchise. But for so many years, we've got even Reloaded and Revolutions were kind of I wouldn't say mediocre. They were definitely good for the time when they were coming out. But they haven't held up as well as the first one. The first one is legendary status. And that's not to say that the franchise couldn't have a legendary status again. Like, Mission Impossible are still doing great stuff after many decades. And yeah, you could say it didn't do as well box office. Well, yeah, that's due to a number of factors. Barbenheimer was a big factor of pushing Mission Impossible out of the cinemas before it had its full run. I mean, people still saw it. I mean, it had legs. It was still surviving even alongside Barbenheimer. But The Matrix needs to have a fresh perspective on... If they're doing the new movie, they need to have a fresh perspective on The Matrix. They need to go back and tell us, how was The Matrix invented? How were people... The original... when they founded Zion and that. Talk about that. There are other ways to do a Matrix movie without tying it to Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss and Morpheus and who's in this one? Oh yeah, that's right. Neil Patrick Harris was Agent Smith or something apparently. Yeah. Why couldn't they get Hugo Weaving? And I get the whole mentality. Oh, he was probably busy doing this. But if you're going to have Agent Smith, have Agent Smith. I just don't like seeing franchises tore down through mediocre release after mediocre release. And I gave a full perspective, and I know this is going to annoy some people. with the Fast and Furious franchise, I gave up after Fast 5. When they were driving cars over what was it? Was it Argentina? They were driving the cars over the roof, and I was like, cool, I can suspend my disbelief, but you're telling me a car's not going to go through that roof? Like, come on. I mean, look, cinema is cinema, and they'll do whatever they're going to do. But do a fresh take on it. If you're going to do The Matrix, then do a prequel. Do a far-off sequel that doesn't include any of the original characters. Have someone discover that there was a Matrix or something 100 years or 200, 300 years after the events of the movies. And I know they tried to do that with Resurrections, but they still had to tie it to Keanu for some reason. So I think there needs to be a fresh take. And, you know, so often we get into this whole, I know the whole franchise mentality of like, people will go, if it's available to the masses, people will watch them. But just because they can doesn't mean they should. And look, nothing is ever going to threaten the supremacy of the original Matrix movie. Like, that is on a different level. But something can work in terms of continuing the trilogy and continuing the franchise. Like Peter Jackson with Lord of the Rings. Now, I haven't really got into the prequel trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, but I know that that's a good trilogy. It wasn't, I mean, it had its problems. The fans definitely had their problems with it. But it was done in a way that actually worked and people wanted to see and people wanted to enjoy. And it was done with very limited cast in there. I mean, did they have Gandalf in there? I think they had Gandalf in there. Ian McKellen? Was he in the Hobbit? I don't know. But this is what I mean. Limit the original cast being in these movies. Tell a story that, yes, fans might be aware of or might want to know more of. Like, as I said, I would like to see more of how the war broke out between the machine world and the human world. Like, I want to see that. Tell me how the Matrix was established. Tell me how Zion was built. Tell me something that I haven't seen. That's what I want to see from the Matrix. If it's just another sequel with Keanu Reeves with him going whoosh, to tell you the truth, I'm probably just going to wait till it comes to 4K. Why would I go to the cinema and watch a boring movie where Keanu doesn't even want to fight in it? And he can do fight scenes, that's the thing. Where is he? Where's John Wick here? There's John Wick behind me, there. He knows how to do Kung Fu still. He knows Kung Fu. Yes, everyone's seen the original Matrix. Everyone gets the reference. But look, tell me what you guys think. Are you excited for the new Matrix movie? Are you not excited for the new Matrix movie? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like they should just shelve the franchise and move on? Do you want to see a prequel trilogy, a prequel, whatever, if they do it a trilogy or whatever, but a prequel movie about how Zion was built and how the machines started the war or the humans scorched the sky or whatever? That's the kind of movies I want to see. And if you feel the same, jump down in my comments. Like, subscribe, drop a comment, notify, and tell me how you feel. Are you excited for this new Matrix movie? Or are you, like, a bit hesitant? Bit like, I don't really know what I'm going to get? Tell me what you think, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.